Hey, man, say, man. This is Ed and Dez.
This is Dez and Ed.
We're a podcast from around the way. Don't play all damn day. Shout out to the homie Gangsta Black. Man, we got a good little episode for you, man. Right away, we want to get off into the latest edition of the A Man, Say Man family. You did. We have none other than special guest coming in for y'all. She is weighing all of about 7 pounds and 20 ounces. And let's just bring her on in. Empress Wilson, come on in for your first special appearance on camera. Come on in.
I don't think she was going to walk in.
Yeah. Let's see. How's a little mug in there, man? Say hi to the people so they can like us a little more. She knocked out, y'all. She is gone for it. Look, yeah. She like, man, you better not move me no type of weird way. She got a little bandana on, white joint, thug life, you know what I'm saying? Looking like Pac in 95, you did.
Adorable.
You know what I'm saying? Appreciate it. You know, you see the shirt, nappy hair, don't care. Yeah, whoever made that shirt, y'all might have to send Fly a check for it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Player Fly. Yeah. It's my first little girl, you know. Girl dad for the first time. I hope it don't mean I'm officially washed up and all that. You know, but it's all good. Hey, look at her. She I don't know if she gonna say, hey, what's up, her? She like, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Come on, little girl. Let me get you out the way. I know you sleep now. You used to be up. I'm trying to get you to wake up. Wake up, little girl. You got some bills to pay.
She knocked out, man. She knocked out.
Wake up, little girl. Time to pay some bills now. You can't be sleeping all day. We ain't going for that. We got to get up and earn that keep around here now. You got about 2 weeks of this sleeping all day stuff. You're going to have to get to work. Yeah, you too. Yeah, you too. Yeah, y'all.
Newest girl dad.
You go. Yeah, I ain't even put my belt on. I ain't ready to go. It was all good. Yeah, we good to go, man. Yeah. We got a new edition. You know what I'm saying? She gonna be probably here soon, giving her takes and debates. You did. So the first topic of the day, we gonna jump right off into the team of the city, man, the heart of the city, none other than the University of Memphis Tigers, and their upcoming trip that they got to the DR, the Dominican Republic. It's a 3-game exhibition. I believe the first game is the game that they will actually be playing against a couple of NBA players, none other than Lester Quinones, Memphis Tigers' own, giving us a chance to get an NBA look. Appreciate Lester for doing that because he definitely didn't have to. So that's a big up to you, Lester. I'm pretty sure there was some type of nice incentive in place for your inconvenience. And also Chris Duarte was with the Indiana Pacers and now is with the Sacramento Kings. So that's 2 NBA players, one of which is a double-digit scorer and really both have the chance to be some offensive stars in the league. Like, these ain't no fringe talents. These some real offensive bucket getters. You understand what I'm saying? So it's going to be great to see them coming up against that team this upcoming season. What's your thoughts on that, Dez? I'm going to go to you first.
I think it's a good test. Playing a team that's got cohesiveness, because they represent their country of origin in a way. So, it's going to definitely be a test for the wings on the team. Because whoever got a hold less than Chris Duarte finna get torched. Now, he's finna get tore up, but it's going to be a good lesson for them to learn. Because, Lester has been in that Golden State Warriors offensive system now for 2 years, and he getting buckets in the G League, and he was killing people in summer league. So, and Chris Duarte started for the Pacers at one point. So it's gonna be a good test, and hopefully Penny had them boys ready. He ain't gonna be there for them first 3 games of the actual season, but these 3 games will be tune-up games to me. That's what they are. You know what I'm saying? So I look forward to learning the outcome. We might not be able to catch it, but seeing the outcome will be dope.
Yeah, absolutely. The last time they had a game like this, I believe it was about 4 years ago. The year James Wiseman came, so it was about 4 years ago, because I remember James Wiseman didn't play in the exhibition. So the last time, the reason why I'm mentioning it is because it was not televised either, but one of our traveling Tigers loyals actually was able to set up a little tripod, and they was able to get some type of footage of what was going on. I'm hoping that in the 4 years of time that has passed, that somebody has a better option of being able to sneak in some footage of us being able to get a glimpse of this new Tigers roster against some real NBA talent. They brought 10 guys on the trip. So pretty much now, out of the 10 who plays, that might still be up in the air. Jordan, the good thing is the big man, Jordan Brown, is now on campus and actually practicing with the team. So that to me pretty much signals that he's gonna play on this trip. That's great, because that's gonna be our big man, and most 9 times out of 10, that's gonna be our leading scorer this year. So that's gonna be great to get him in there and get him acclimated right away. DeAndre Williams, of course, won't be on the trip yet, if I'm not mistaken. They're still, of course, waiting on the waiver, so he won't be on the trip definitely. So that actually makes 4 technically. You got Jalen Young, the transfer from UCF. Mikey Williams, I don't think he'll be making the trip. He might make the trip, but I'm not sure if he'll be playing. And from my understanding, he's not going to be able to make the trip yet. And then David Jones, the guard, forward transfer here that's actually from the Dominican Republic himself. Actually, I wonder if they got something to do with him not playing, being that he's from the DR.
It could be a host of anything, or maybe he's trying to make that team.
Right, and I know he has issues with not issues. He's just finishing up some credits, so that he'll be fully eligible. But it's a kind of, I don't think it's a real coincidence, but I think it's kind of funny the timing. Not funny in a weird way or nothing like that. It's just coincidentally that he's not going to be able to play on this trip against his homeland. We would have liked that, but it's no here, there is nothing like that at all. I know that's just an odd coincidence in this situation. But yeah, man, that's the good thing about this trip, man. We got 10 guys already on board that's for sure gonna make the trip. Out of that 10, and we can get 8 to play, I think we'll have a pretty good game. I ain't gonna lie. I think because this team is not gonna be like a team full of freshmen, you know what I'm saying, or a traditional team where it's just new guys getting to know.
And most of these dudes old.
Right, you know what I'm saying, and they got their veteran experience. So these guys know how to step up and play basketball, if nothing else. So that's the good thing. Even though these guys haven't played an organized game together yet, this is gonna be their first one. This will be a good way for them breaking in. So kudos to Penny, man. When I say this cat went OP, like he went OP. And then the latest edition this past week, I forgot all about that. We gotta mention this cat, Jaquan Walton from Wichita State. Yeah, man, bro. Like, to get a recruit like that as a replacement, because of course, if y'all aren't aware yet, T.I.F.L. Leonard, the transfer from Middle Tennessee State University, will not be joining the Tigers after all. He has decided to take that professional offer that he was offered along with the Tigers offer. It's a menace thing. It's just a situation where it seems like it's no, because I think one thing I like about Penny, you can tell that Penny's transparent with cats and he's upfront about what may possibly unfold, because you never see guys say anything negative about Penny when they leave. If you notice, that you never see nobody say nothing negative. No. Even if we think it's an unceremonious exit, they still have pretty positive words, and you can tell it ain't just a statement. Like you'll see these guys later on with Penny after they done transferred or whatever. Like I saw Landers Nolly right after they played Penny, Cincinnati played the Tigers. Right after the game, you saw Landers Nolly running over there to Penny. You know, so you could tell like that even when these situations happen where guys move on, they still have their love for Penny, and that says a lot about his communication with his guys. So kudos to man, Penny just. When you talk about living the Willie Heritage statement, shake the haters off, Penny is shaking the haters off with no words, just total action. And you got, I ain't trying to be dick pulling or nothing like that, but it's just, you got to give somebody credit when they turn this shit around the way he has in such a short span. And also, again, kudos to Rick Stansberry and kudos to Penny for hiring Rick Stansberry, because most coaches just don't have the balls to hire their weakness. And Penny was smart enough to say, fuck the bullshit. I'm going to go and bring in the big guns that's going to fill in the balance of what I need. So kudos to them in that situation as well. On Jaquan Walton, by the way, Jaquan Walton is a hell of a talent from Wichita State. He led them in scoring last year. If he wasn't the leading rebounder, he was one of the leading rebounders. That's pretty damn good for a cat that's only 6'7", 200 pounds, 205 pounds, some shit like that. Definitely efficient player. He was one of the most efficient players in college basketball last year. He shot over 40% from three. He shot 53% from the field. And he was he was averaging 14 points and 6 rebounds a game. You see what I'm saying? He did this in the same conference. This ain't somebody coming from the LVC or some shit like that. This somebody actually staying in our conference. He played against Memphis and had this type of production. So kudos to Penny to go snatch the best player off of another team in the conference and add in the name of adding depth. That's some cold shit. You know what I'm saying? And kudos to the way that team is forming about. I think the roster is just going to be unbelievably amazing this year. I think this is a national championship team. I'm going to go ahead and say it. This is a Final Four team at the floor. I think this is a Final Four team. At the very worst, if some fluke happen, they'll be Sweet 16. That's if something flukish happen. This is a Sweet 16 team. At best, this is a national championship team. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm betting my bet on them. I'm probably going to place that bet for them to win the national championship this season. So kudos to Penny. I think he's going to bring the first one home this upcoming season. Staying on the Tigers. The Tigers just had so much shit this week to go unfold and unravel. How can we spin away from them? Topic number 2. The boy, none other than Mr. San Diego, California himself, Mikey Williams, has actually arrived in Memphis. He is here, folks. Now, officially reporting to the team and practicing. We have not gotten that confirmation yet. For whatever reason, I don't see the hold up, even with the criminal case. But I'm going to get to Dez, by the way, on this one.
Yeah, that kid don't want to put his life on hold. Hey, man, listen. We from Memphis, dog. I seen so many people jump bond and all kind of shit.
Right. Go to being lower level the first day on trial for their life, and by the evening, the same night, they playing in the pyramid.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I can't blame them, man. I wouldn't let them folks hold me up either. You're going to keep pushing it back. I just fly back when it's he already got the bread because he already a millionaire.
Speaking of such, I'm so glad you said that. And I just, speaking of the bread, Did you see the video, sir? I know you've been busy. By the way, my boy was in the mix with the Hamilton High School,
Central
High School
20th year reunion, man. Shout out to y'all, man. I had a blast. That's why I'm a little what's the word I'm looking for? Docile today.
I don't even know what this shit means. I don't use my context clues though.
I'm a little docile. I'm just yeah. I got a lot of. I ain't got no bite or bark today, but I got a yelp, like one of the little purse carry dogs, one of the little red dogs. I got a yelp to me. That's my voice deep and all that today. But yeah, man, this shout out 20 years out of high school, man, and none of us look bummy. I love it. Everybody looked like we're aging very gracefully, like we found some type of fountain of youth in the M-Town or something, or wherever everybody at, man. Shout out to everybody. Kudos to the people that look at the podcast too, man. Shout out to y'all. Keep doing it and put it in other people's face, man.
Yeah, man. Is that what you said, man? Tell a friend to tell a friend. We need it, Lord knows.
But you were saying the bread, right?
Oh, yeah. Speaking of the bread of Mikey Williams, he definitely came here and allowed that to be seen. Yesterday, video surfaced online. He posted content of him going shopping here in the city immediately. Like soon as he got here, he went and dropped racks. He spent about 15,000-20,000 off the muscle. And he showed receipts, like he showed the computer screen of what he was spending in each store.
I just listen, man.
And I'll say this, man. This is what I liked about it. Normally that's not good, right? Or oh my God, you spend a lot of money doing it in Memphis. But because I was like, well, I spend anything close to that, I would go online typically. And what I liked about with Mikey actually had a hell of a security team from what I'm hearing out there with him. So he's not just stomping the street. You know what I'm saying? There's some type of thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank God. What you said, good. Like, thank God. Yeah. Like, bro, Mikey, if you get a hold to this podcast, bro, if you gonna be Mikey, and I love it, I want to see you be Mikey, nigga. Turn up. Like, I'm with you, bro. Turn the fuck up. Have fun, bro. You work your ass off. Just have people in place to keep that situation together. If you don't do anything else, bro, have your people down here to keep your situation tight, keep a lot of bullshit away. I love my city, but man, we don't have a lot of cats around here spending $15,000-$20,000 just to make a social media video. So when cats like that hit the city, word cash, you feel me? So man, keep your security team in place, man. Keep your parameters in check, and get you a nice little spot, man, somewhere where there's some privacy. Where keep down a lot of confusion, man. But yeah, Mikey was on campus, bro. I mean, not on campus, but definitely in the city. He was out shaking hands, taking pictures. He was at they had another Memphis Hoop Summit this weekend. It was at the fairgrounds facility, the sports complex. The Liberty, the new giant. They had another one kind of similar to the EYBL, but I think this was sanctioned under either FIBA or Team USA or something like that. Yeah. So this was actually another big time circuit. I believe Mikey must have been there because he was posing with some cheerleaders and stuff that wanted to take pictures with him and stuff. So, Mikey said he ain't bullshit. Mikey, that's letting y'all know. Mikey showing y'all he really wants to be here because there's not even an official okay for him to play yet from what we know. We don't know, though. One thing I said about Penny keep his cards to his vest.
Honestly, it's really nothing stopping him from playing. It's
exactly.
To me, if he heard, he gonna play. You know what I'm saying? It's just because it's no actual nothing to that. It's no meat on the bones of this situation. Yeah, it is what it is, man. They gonna, he'll fly back whenever the hearing or rank or whatever he got scheduled. He'll fly back for it and be back the next day. We've seen
same day they flying private. Yeah, it's a meeting.
We've seen basketball players fight, allegations in the court of law and fly back and forth between cities before. We've seen this actively in the past years. This won't be no different with him. Young man, rumble, young man, rumble. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing, shine even brighter and come here and kick ass, man. You know, that's the best. That's the best way to move on from the situation is to move up. And he got, and just like Ja got D Rose here now, he got D Rose here.
And Penny.
Yeah, so he got, you know,
a few roles.
Yeah, he got some people to talk to that's been through some situations. So you know what I'm saying? It's dope for him because I just know D Rose dealt with a court case before.
Penny too.
You know, yeah. So
Penny too.
You know, them cats they can give him light, they can guide him, and he in the city that's gonna love him.
And Penny actually has dealt with a case that was, you know, involved in something you know, similar. So not similar, but somewhat with the same offenses at play. So Penny can relate to that specific element of those type of situations. So yeah, absolutely.
It's dope.
Yeah, man, I definitely am excited. I'm hoping Mikey go ahead and get acclimated. I'm pretty sure that's what that's what it's gonna be. So shout out to Mikey Williams, bro, for persevering through this situation. You really showing, bro, you determined to be here because you had other offers. I heard people make comments, but I've actually talked to somebody that know Mikey on Twitter, and they were like, bro, Mikey had other offers. Mikey could have made more money and went elsewhere. But Mikey actually chose to be here because he really wanted to work with Penny. Even if he, like, no matter what, from what I'm hearing, Mikey's even willing to possibly have a Shaden Sharp type of year to where he might not even get to play right away or at all, but he'll still get to be here in the program, working out with Penny, working out with the team, similar to Shaden Sharp with Kentucky a few years back. So that just shows, man, Mikey, all the naysayers that say Mikey got too caught up in the social media, the fame, the money that he's already made and generated, he's showing y'all off the court that he's committed to this process, just like we seen him on the court when he died for loose balls of 20 points in the game. Moving right along, man, we're going to switch subjects, switch topics, switch sports. We're going to touch bases on this Terrence Crawford versus Earl Spence fight last night. I don't know if we can call it a fight.
Womp, womp, womp.
I can't. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. It got to a point where I had to turn it off. Like I just couldn't watch no man get beat like that. And maybe I should have drunk because I wasn't drinking last night. I don't really drink like that. I'm a very light social drinker, so I chose not to drink. Maybe if I had a drunk something, I would have felt more content with watching it. But it was just total, just brutal beatdown. Like
dog walking.
I won't be surprised if Earl Spence got CTE after this, and I don't even say that to be joking. Like, he needs to get a lot of head trauma evaluation after this, bro, because, I mean, he got beat, like, in ways, man. I mean, when you're talking about somebody getting jabbed, and let me get to my guy first. Let's let him talk about this.
Hey, listen, I have never in my life seen a champion eat so many jabs. That was nuts. This man couldn't block the jab. He wasn't prepared for Bud to jab. That's obvious. And normally Bud don't jab, right? So I imagine whatever tape he watched, that shit went out the window. But the first round, Earl Spence really was active first round, right? So it kind of had people thinking like, you know, well, I don't think Earl Spence felt that out. I think Bud played possible.
Yeah.
I really do. I think he was like, oh, that's what you got. Oh, I'm finna show you what's up.
And when I said feeling each other out, I feel like that's what Crawford Bud was.
Yeah, he was. Cause Earl Spence came in firing. I was just like, you know, yeah, but Bud, man, he's the best pound for pound fighter on planet Earth at 35 years old.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, it's bro, ain't nobody. Earl Spence dog walks other people. He got demolished. For him to do that, when you beat a champion, that's one thing. But when you beat the hell out of him like that,
like beat them to where it was literally like everybody on too, like, yo, throw in the towel, bro. Like,
and at 147, Earl Spence already don't like fighting at that weight. So I know they got the automatic rematch clause in there, and the winner, I think, get to decide like the catch weight of the new fight. So if it's not a rematch, I want people to understand. Earl Spence said before the fight even happened, he's never fighting at 147 again. So 154 is what he wants to fight at. So if Bud wants to fight at 147 again, it won't be against Earl Spence. He just, ever since that accident and all that, I'm pretty sure he just want to keep his weight down.
Yeah, and exactly, man. That car accident, I think it did something to him mentally and just up here, period. Uh, like I've seen Earl take shots before and eat them shits, and he ain't eating it. You know what I'm saying? It's a different level of power.
He ate them punches though.
He ate them, but not he ate them, but it costed him severely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like typically, I've seen Earl Spence be able to eat those punches to minimum cost and still be able to do him. Flashy, talking shit in the process of whooping somebody's ass. And, it's just this time around, it seemed like every punch was just head trauma. I mean, literally, it looked in his face. That's one thing when you can, when I tune back in, if you didn't even watch the fight, you could just tune in and just for a split second get a screenshot of the fight, and I don't want to watch this. Somebody's getting the fuck beat out of him.
Man, look like a rock'em sock'em robot.
You got your ass whooped, Mr. Postman. I swear you did. God damn, man. I said, man, Lord have mercy. Now, is he the best fighter on earth? I think that says that's an indictment about the lack of fighters, quality fighters in today's boxing. Because he got 4 belts now. He's the first motherfucker that got 4 belts unified in the welterweight division. He the first to ever do this shit. To me, you dominate like that, kind of tells me that sport a little water down in terms of competition.
You know what? I don't agree with that. The reason being is because when you that much better than everybody else, like we've seen that this is in boxing, you see people dominate, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like in the 80s,
that's true.
It was a lot more parity in the 80s.
Right.
Like it was a lot more parity in the 80s because nobody really pulled away.
And I'm glad you said, I'm so glad you said, because like nobody was getting the fuck beat out of them. Like, even if you lost, motherfuckers banged it out. It was if you lost and you got the shit beat out of you, the other dude got the shit beat out of him too.
Hey, Stonehand Duran, that motherfucker said no mas. Sugar Ray was chasing his ass.
But and guess what? Most people don't even know Duran's. That's actually not even. I guess what I'm talking about is, especially if there's a real contender, like a good number 2 fighting number 1. You don't see them get the shit beat out of them like we just saw the number 2 beat the number 1 ass.
But you know something else though? Bud a different type of fighter because Bud, like did
you see him show up for weight?
Huh?
Did you see him show up for the weigh-in?
Let me see.
The man had on some Walmart Hanes draws that looked like they had been already washed 20, 30 times. And his legs and shit was ashy as hell.
Yeah, Bud went and won.
Yeah, you knew that was some pure project baby. I'm finna beat the dog shit out these niggas.
Yo, that in the boxing game, man, it's nice to see like what he doing and his type of personality because we done had the flashy guys with Roy Jones, Mayweather, all that. I think
he kind of like that Tyson throwback, but not
Tyson was eccentric though.
Yeah.
Bud ain't eccentric. Bud
I guess I'm talking about. I guess when you say brawly, brass, grit.
Yeah, that's coming to the ring,
right? And that's
but he that outside the ring too,
right? That's
what's different.
Right.
That's why I think in boxing circles, people probably not too happy about him being the best because it's not going his style of personality is not going to really promote the sport like so
unless you really capture the hearts of the blue collar audience in today's boxing, and even then you have to have some type of name or something to even catch people for them even know who you are, to know you that they relate to you. So even there's a disconnect with that. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Like in terms of marketability, it's an uphill battle unless they figure out a way to really market him to the blue collar fans, to endear him to those guys. You're gonna have to get him a Ford F-150 endorsement, some Bass Pro endorsements, some shit like that.
I mean, at 35, that ship is sailed. It pretty much is what it is, and they got to get. I think somebody
boxing, because 35 in boxing is actually prime age. That's not old in boxing.
He got another 2 to 3 years before somebody like Shakur Stevens move up in weight or whatever and deal with him. Like they gonna, because it's a reflex thing, right?
Right. As they get older,
and Floyd is the only person in that weight class to sustain, because that weight class is so built on speed. Like you can see George Foreman come back and knock out a heavyweight champ because that's power. Yeah, that's slugger stuff. Yeah. But when you 147, 154, that type of stuff, moving like a jackrabbit, that's it. Like you out of there, because nobody's really that much more powerful than anybody in that weight class. It's just not possible. But going forward, I think the dude, I just don't see not a damn person having any chance at beat. The only person that had a snowball chance in hell in the next 2 to 3 years to beat him, he just beat the hell out of him. Nobody else is gonna be able. They're not ready.
Not in that class.
Like Shakur Stevenson.
He got to grow. He got to get a little older where his body can naturally handle that type of weight.
Exactly.
And the same for anybody else possible. I don't think Javante will ever be able to move up to that. I mean, he'll be a lot stockier.
Nah, he too short.
Right, that's why exactly.
He's too short to fight him.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I mean, that's why I said to me, I kind of question a lot of people do, the state of boxing today. It just the kids coming up that would be the great prospects, they're not going into boxing. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be fucking defensive ends and shit.
That's the heavyweight division,
right? But or even in the smaller, the welterweights and shit, that 6'1", 165 motherfucker, he going to play basketball. He ain't gonna come in and get beat up sideways and take that $100 million. He can just run up and down the court to get. So I guess that was just my point of the lack of talent in today's boxing versus a yesteryear, but that doesn't take away from Terrence Crawford from Bud. Shout out to him. He beating the shit out of who they put in front of him. And that's all you can do, bro. I can't go create no another fighter to make him a formidable opponent. You got to line up and beat the shit out of who they put in front of you. That's the reality.
He did it to Porter. He did it to Amir Khan. He did it to
his resume. Yeah, exactly.
Every single person that came up, man.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Floyd can keep up with him at this age? Because defensively, he's not. The speed is there, but I don't think he's speed to the point where Floyd can't defend himself. Even at 45.
I'll be honest, from a boxing standpoint, Floyd Mayweather probably still a better boxer than Bud.
All around.
But once you include like the athleticism aspect of it, and I don't know if Floyd could do it. Now, if you just say boxing, Floyd would kill him.
Right, like skill of the technician aspect.
Anybody. But I will say this: Bud would have been the best fight you could have gotten against Floyd, like prime Floyd, because I never wanted to see Floyd fight Manny Pacquiao. I never wanted to see it, and that's because I knew it was going to be lopsided.
And I was thinking that too when you said that as far as opponents. Do you think, in comparison to Manny, where do you see Bud? Far more of a far better, more athletic version of what Pacquiao is, right? That's what I see when I think not saying they're exactly the same. He's a far more peak and he a black athletic version of what Pacquiao is.
He reminds me of Bernard Hopkins.
Okay.
That's who he reminds. He reminds me of the execution. Like he walk you down, that type of stuff. You really he cut off the ring. Right. He don't allow a lot of movement. That's he functioned like Hopkins to me. Like that would have been, because those were the only people to ever like give Floyd a problem. Like Castillo, the first fight, and then Maidana.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Maidana, but Castillo was the only person that like that first fight. That was Floyd's only real challenge to me in his career. I think all the rest of the people.
I think Maidana it wasn't a challenge, but
he was. Maidana was one of the people that, regardless of Floyd defense, he didn't get tired. and he never let off the gas. That's what he did that first fight. Because that second fight, he got his ass dog. Floyd was like, I ain't even gonna give you no shot. The second fight, he's like, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Yeah,
and he beat, and Floyd actually bullied him that second fight. Like he bullied a lot of people that people thought was gonna get in the ring and bully him. He bullied Oscar De La Hoya. He bullied
he dogged him out. So that Sugar Ray, all them motherfuckers, he just he went to town.
He said Sugar Ray.
I mean, not Sugar Ray. The light skinned pretty boy he fought. I'm tripping right now. The old school cat. He called him at the end of his career. Ray, what's his name? God damn. The light skinned cat. I can't think his name for shit right now.
You ain't talking about Shane Mosley.
Shane Mosley. I said Sugar Ray. They look alike.
Light skinned.
Yeah, but they pretty boy look. They kind of look alike. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, you get Sugar Ray is a bigger name, so he kind of
Sugar Shane.
Right, Sugar Shane. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can say Sugar Ray. I mean Sugar Shane. I couldn't think his name. But you knew what I meant. A pretty boy light skinned nigga. You knew what I was talking about.
Brown, but okay.
Please hang on like that. You knew what I was talking about, nigga.
When you said light skin, I'm thinking like Winky Wright type. Like damn,
I ain't heard that name like 15 years.
Man, one of the best defensive fighters. I'm a big fight buff, y'all. I love the fight game. It's really the most intellectually pleasing sport to me. You know, baseball is very intellectual, but it's different in ways. But with boxing, the sweet science, you really get to see instincts match intellect and go. And that's the beauty of it, because styles make fights, and that saying is stretched out to all sports. But with boxing in particular, even more so than MMA, boxing, it means that styles make fights.
I'm glad you said. I was gonna say, I wasn't gonna say MMA, but I was gonna say, the karates, the kempos, but those aren't considered mainstream sports. So, the skill and the style of that is extremely important. I've been practicing those all my life. So, the intricacies of those particular sports, like your stance tells a person what type of fighter you are. You know what I'm saying? Your hand placement, all of this. So, which is still combat sports, so it still goes hand in hand with what there is. It's talking about as far as just being intricate sports. But I think that's one even more than MMA, because MMA can just be brutal, right? So they kind of takes away some of the skill aspect of it. But in karate and kempo, there's a certain discipline to the rules that you have to have a certain level of time and skill and IQ to just be able to create in those fights, because there's a lot of creation. It's almost like playing basketball right at the rim. The whole game is based around you playing mid-range in. No three-point lines. It's a shorter basketball court. Kind of reminds me of that in terms of it, because with kempo and karate is 6 to 12 inches distance. So that's why I would say it's more IQ in that one versus boxing, because you got a whole ring where you can create that distance. In kempo and karate, you don't have that. So the pressure is on, because you ain't got that much time to recuperate and think. It's constant. You know what I'm saying?
Fighting people like Bud and Mike Tyson, you ain't got a lot of ring either. The ring is very small when you're in there with people like that.
Yeah,
ain't no running, none of that. You finna get walked down. It's very few. And
you don't think Ali or Floyd could have danced? I know Ali could have danced with Brown and kept Tyson in there a while.
Ali would have beat the hell out of Mike Tyson.
You think so?
Horrible.
In the prime?
Hell
no. In his prime?
Listen to Mike Tyson talk about
it. Motherfucker. Hell,
bro.
Mike don't say that because he dead. Man. Ain't no fucking.
I'm gonna tell you why. This is how you. This is why I say that.
Hell.
Ali jab. It was probably the fastest jab for a heavyweight ever. And two,
but you know, Tyson ate the jab in his prime. Tyson just started having a hard time eating jabs until he was at the end.
He didn't eat jab. He bobbed and weaved. He wasn't eating that.
That's eating them too, though. That's part of eating them, being able to suppress the jab.
If he couldn't do nothing with Lennox Lewis jab,
that was at the end of your career, though. That was at the end of his career.
Ali's speed,
and he was not. I would tell anybody, Mike was so drugged up in that fight. Mike even said he was.
He might have been,
because he just stood there the whole fight. It was like he didn't know what the fuck to do.
Muhammad Ali could do a jab quicker than a camera could flash. Mike ain't doing nothing with that.
I ain't gonna lie though, Mike's quickness was crazy too though, bro.
Ali reached,
and Ali,
that, man,
Ali couldn't. This ain't George Foreman. Ali ain't taking no.
George Foreman was more powerful than Mike Tyson.
Tyson Foreman. Now that's what Foreman says. Tyson was more powerful than him. Remember, that's why he didn't fight Mike. Remember, he turned down fighting Mike. He said he was scared of Mike.
At that time, he couldn't do nothing with Mike Tyson. Yeah. That young Foreman,
but now Mike was in his 30s too then by then.
But Foreman was like 50 something.
40. He was 40. He was 40s.
Yeah, he's way older.
He was still like the heavyweight champion.
Listen, when that man hit Frazier and Frazier bounced off the mat and did whatever the hell he be like, man, Foreman had just a different type of brute. Like Mike had speed and power. Foreman, it was just straight lay you out like you got hit with an aluminum bat.
But see, Foreman had slugger power to define it. Mike had explosive power.
Yeah, explosive athleticism.
That's far more detrimental. Slugging is cool, but you can down there eat a sluggish, powerful slug punch. You can down there eat that if you embrace a certain way. Power, like this is the difference between Mike and to me, it's almost like Chuck Norris versus Bruce Lee. You got a guy that can hit you here, 1 inch in, and break your shoulder. And then you got a guy like Chuck who might come from a little further back and try to break your shoulder. Now, which one is the most powerful is going to be the one right here because this is all explosion. So if I come in from right here, this cracking immediately because of the explosion versus a slug might crack it, but it's more going to hurt more than anything if you ask, because your body can eat the slug, right? Depending on how much definition or how much meat you got on the arm, your body can eat that slug. Explosive power? Hell no. That's from a fighter myself. Like I actually been a fighter all my life, so I felt the difference. Like sluggish power and explosive power, bro. That's why I say Tyson's power was by far the greatest. And if you ask anybody that's the boxing historians, yourself or anybody, you have, everybody have their own guy, but there are some other boxing historians out here that'll tell you, like, bro, the power of Tyson with the explosion because of the speed with it. And he can hit you like Foreman got to wind up and slug your ass from back here. Tyson didn't have to do nothing. Tyson will be right up in here.
Mike Tyson is the boogeyman.
Yeah, that was and that's why I was saying like that exactly. Like it was unheard of for somebody to be able to. I could sit right here, and it's one thing for Bruce Lee to do that shit, but for Tyson to understand that much, to have that ability to have that shit is it's Bruce Lee on steroids. Like the power that man has is Bruce Lee on steroids versus a Chuck who's still an amazing fighter. And I think that's how I compare or how I see Tyson versus Foreman on them.
I just know, in the heavyweight division, in his prime, Ali was that probably the most impressive fighter I've ever seen.
Even on Tyson?
Yeah.
It was really his ability to wear people down, though. I mean, he was a hell of a fighter offensively. I'm not taking it from him.
I'm saying like prime, though.
Yeah.
They couldn't even hit him. In his prime, they couldn't even hit him.
That's defense and your ability to wear
for a heavyweight,
right?
That's unheard of.
I give you that. That's his height and size.
Exactly.
He was taller than Tyson.
People couldn't even hit his body.
Right, and to do that 6'3" something, you absolutely right.
It was crazy to watch him, and then his reach was so long,
right?
And he was so much faster than everybody, and he was actually bigger than Sonny Liston. So Sonny Liston was the boogeyman in his day, and when he stood toe to toe with Ali, he was the smaller man. So Ali was big too, and he was that distance. It's like, if they ain't rob him of the key years of his prime, we would have saw the greatest displays of athleticism in a boxing ring ever.
I think he still did.
And I think Roy Jones took that. I don't
know. I think I give it to Ali and Tyson on the strength of their size over Roy. Because they did it at a big. It's one thing to do it at Roy's size, which is unbelievable. But Roy didn't have quite the power of a Tyson, and Tyson was still close to him in terms of speed and quickness.
Not quickness. Roy Jones Jr. is the quickest.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying like Tyson's quickness is much closer to Roy than Roy's power was to Tyson. The disparity or the margin in terms of their quickness was nowhere near the margin in terms of power with Tyson and versus.
I agree with it.
Like, so that makes, to me, that's why I say I give him the edge. And I think the same thing with Roy. I mean, with Ali at 6'3", 215, 220, like to do that shit with like you said, a 79 inch.
82 inch.
Yeah, 82.
Crazy.
That's even larger than I'm thinking basketball. This nigga long. That's like some Rondo type shit.
He killing folks there. But with the boxing game, man, the most beautiful part about it, that's the one sport where when you compare different fighters from different eras, it's a better conversation than the basketball talk in the barbershop. It really, because with boxing, you actually have substantial things to go on.
Mm-hmm.
And the rules wasn't that different and
it's one man.
Yeah,
it's
better that way. You can do that with tennis, same way, like as far as Pete Sampras versus a Jokic or Djokovic or whoever. You know what I'm saying? So I really liked it.
In tennis, Serena's the greatest tennis player out there. I know it's a whole nother conversation, but I just like to always put that out there. Serena's the greatest tennis player out there. So if you mention tennis, you got to mention Serena first. The next one we're going to get to is Memphis Pro-Am this week. We had another round of Memphis Pro-Am this week. Some of our local Tiger favorites local Memphis favorites was able to return. Kennedy Chandler, one in particular, a former Memphis Grizzly, who was just way earlier a couple months ago this year. He actually made a Pro-Am debut, scored 21 points. Alex Lomax hit 30 in his Pro-Am, folks. That's the reason why I brought this shit up. Like, I appreciate the Pro-Am. I'm glad we brought it back. We needed a Pro-Am. I was actually going to try to start one in a couple of years if it hadn't came back. So it's good that somebody took that initiative. But Alex Lomax scored 30 in his Pro-Am, folks. Definitely got some work to do in terms of getting some better guys out here. And I don't even think it's a matter yet. I think they went and got the best that they can literally get. I think it just boils down to the fact Memphis, which proposes the question of Memphis's Pro-Am or Memphis hoop circuit today versus that of old. You had guys like Will Coleman on the court. Will Coleman couldn't get on the floor tonight. I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. Lorenzen Wright got down, and you can sit there and still face all you all cool with it. Like Pimp C was said, don't blame the bun. You come to the pimp for this, but this the pimp. This is my opinion. This ain't Dez and Ed's opinion. This is Ed's opinion. So hold me to that when you see me somewhere. But yeah, man, I seen Will Coleman on the floor. A 40-year-old Will Coleman can't get on no goddamn floor with no real Memphis Tiger Pro-Am, no Memphis Pro-Am circuit. Will Coleman couldn't get on the floor at 40 years old in the Blood City Classic. I don't give a damn what nobody say. I'm pretty sure I'm positive on that. Because you would have had a 25-year-old Lorenzen Wright. You would have had a 25-year-old Sid Henderson. You would have had a 25, 26-year-old Paris London. Whatever the era was, you would have had a 25-year-old Kelly Wise. You would have had guys out there that would have kept the situation a little more realistic. When I see a Pro-Am where Alex Lomax scores 30 and Will Coleman is on the floor in the same damn game, I'm going to just keep it 100 with y'all. We got some work to do in terms of getting better talent in the city. But I think also it says, we're kind of in a little dry period in terms of talent right now because all the kids in Memphis want to play Call of Duty in real life. They ain't hooping like they used to. So that's a whole other conversation. But, what you think about it?
I just don't think it's as much emphasis, man. Like, times changed and, the youth. Like, if a person is good enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can sign with bread. Like bread, making money used to be something people did. Now making money is something people are. They consider themselves that. You know what I'm saying?
They're the brand now.
Yeah, it's different. So I don't think, they think it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Cats don't want to do that for free.
I'm with you, mate. If that's true, if that is true, and it may very well be, and this is the reason why, because it lends itself to the stigma of Memphis players having too much ego. That's one of the reasons why the Beale Street team, also GM by your boy Will Coleman, got knocked the fuck out in the first round, second round. Pretty much first, second round out every year. It's the same situation. Like, as far as anytime the team, if you feel like because this is what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna chop this up even better. LeBron played in the Pro-Ams. Kevin Durant played in Pro-Ams. It was some all-stars. Fucking Dylan Brooks just got a $90 million contract. You can say what you want to say about Dylan Brooks. He doesn't have to play in Pro-Am. Am I wrong? Am I right? No. Yet he chose to. You know what I'm saying? It was $90 million fucking dollars, over $100 million earnings in his career. 27 years old. He's playing in the Pro-Am. Kennedy Chandler was there playing for the Grizzlies. So my whole point of that is, who else, if you ask me, because Curtis Givens, the third show, shout out to Curtis Givens, Curtis Givens the third, he played in it this weekend. Billy Richmond's the third played in it this weekend too. So I think they're pretty much the best of the circuit of Memphis preps right now. So gotten Memphis natives that's currently still in high school, because neither one of those guys are playing in Memphis right now. But so the best that Memphis has to offer has played in it. It just wasn't enough. So it's not even an indictment against the league or nothing like that. I think it's just more so I don't know what it is, but the talent, it just ain't there in Memphis right now.
A lot of them guys overseas right now. Overseas seasons are going on right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's again, it's the money, man. Like,
but wasn't even with that, the overseas thing was going on back in the day?
Not really.
During the summer, yes, it was.
You got to think of this. Basketball has grown exponentially.
Yeah, there are more teams, more opportunities.
So, there was no Chinese basketball league however long ago.
Right.
Now it's booming. Like these leagues, the NBA or the New Zealand, like all of those leagues kick off when the NBA is done on purpose.
Right.
So, all them kids making their money in the summer now. It didn't used to. Back in the day, it used to be like a couple teams in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple. Now it's all over Europe as a continent.
Every country got an A, B, C, and D team.
Yeah, you got it's teams in South America starting to get it. You got you got Puerto Rican league. You got all these different leagues, Philippine league, like all these different professional leagues now. It just didn't exist in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So these cats is out making money, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Adonis Thomas then was on ESPN with the basketball tournament, right? Like he probably reporting right back overseas. Like the reason Kennedy Chandler's there is because he's in the NBA.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's why he there. Like it's about availability, because they finna go get that money. Right. Because that's when they earn their high six figures to seven figure salary. Right. So that's when they got to get paid, because the NBA, they got their shit on lock. The NBA got a 8-month period of functioning. So you got 4 months to go get paid, because them other leagues is not finna, because the NBA probably got deals with these other leagues that say, hey, y'all begin y'all shit and then you end y'all shit and do it to make sure it doesn't interfere with us.
Now, most of the EuroLeague teams do play during the season when the NBA plays. That's why you have the EuroLeague teams, players that get bought out. I mean,
they coincide with those other Asian leagues and stuff.
Right, there are a few leagues out there that do offer the money. You absolutely
exactly.
Right.
So they, because when you're not in the NBA, you got to maximize as much as you can, like the WNBA players did. So these people are playing. They'll play the season in Europe, and then they go to Asia too. They go to Australia. They go to these places and play. So I'm not shocked. And honestly, with the Pro-Am stuff, man, and after seeing the big three, cats just trying to make their living, man. At the end of the day, that's all everybody trying to do with basketball. They're trying to make their living. because it's more professional basketball players that's not in the NBA than are in the NBA.
Absolutely.
So you know what I'm saying? As far as the talent level, and then it's a pride thing. People don't take pride like they used to in the hometown flavor.
Or understand the opportunity, because you got guys like right now, Jonathan Kuminga's team put out a press release right after they got eliminated, saying, "Hey, he's gonna play in as many pro-am leagues in the country this year to get runs against other NBA players to display facets of his game that he didn't get to display with the Warriors this season." You know what I'm saying?
He's brutally underutilized.
Right.
That's a different conversation.
And the point of me mentioning that is, he sees the opportunity in the pro-am circuit.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, he said, okay, even though my money is good and I'm not on, even right now, Jonathan Kuminga will still get a nice fat contract if he was an unrestricted free agent right now. So he's not in a position where it's do or die of him staying in the league. He wants to move up. So he sees the opportunity playing in these pro-am leagues, not just displaying his game, but also playing with other guys, letting them get a feel of how he plays, so they can go back and, the Warriors only sticking him in the corner to play power forward. I'm pretty sure they can find somebody else to do that. Let's see what we can offer them to go get him. I would like to play with him. I played with him in the summer. Good example of that. Going into the draft, before the draft, Shaq, going back years ago, Shaq did that with Penny Hardaway. That's how they ended up playing together. They played together in the summer on the set for a movie, Blue Chips. Shaq was amazed when he saw Penny play and the way Penny moved that ball and made sure he got that ball. Shaq went to the GM and told the GM and the owner of the Magic, "Hey, we got to have him. We got to have him." And but then again, utilizing those summer ball, those summer rec game opportunities changed the situation. And I like you said, you're absolutely right in terms of the money, but I don't think I'm not sure if that's you good?
Yeah.
If that's a good example, or if that's the best idea in terms of the way we do things today or how the league functions today. So let's get to the next subject. New footage of Ja has surfaced online. We don't know if it's actual live footage or what. I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk on this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be real short. Let the man have fun. Simple. You know what I'm saying? It's like he partying. Okay, I just got through partying. Shit, like here's what it is, man.
Right.
You got they gotta let the dude breathe.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta let him breathe. So yeah, I don't care. Like he's not committed to crime. Like at this point, he's under a goddamn microscope, and he in a petri dish. That's what it's gotta feel like for him. Yeah, nobody wants to be watched like that. Like people trying to micromanage every part about it. It's just not possible. It's not feasible, and hopefully they run out of steam. Like hopefully this message runs out of steam. Mm-hmm. That's what my thought on it. I hope this shit just dies out. Cause fuck, he gonna turn up. He got millions and he 24. Who wouldn't?
Right.
Shit, who wouldn't, man?
Yeah, I pretty much feel the same way on that one. So I just want to put that out there, I guess, for those who, because it was a big conversation on the web this week, on Twitter at least, on the X app. So that was definitely something I wanted to make sure we put out here to address. The next one is the importance of the Grizzlies team building this offseason. I'm gonna let you go with that.
That's a good topic though. When I read that, I was like, you came up one on that. I think this is a pivotal year, especially for the head coach. So going into the season, they got to build up. Like point blank period, they need it's a lot of chemistry issues on the floor. Realistically, the star point guard does not play particularly well offensively with the starting power forward. Him and Jaren have no chemistry. They don't. And that's an issue. So I hope with all of this footage of people working out and job part, I hope that the coaching staff come up with some type of plan. They have no pick and roll together. None. It doesn't exist. So hopefully the team building in the summer it leads to that at least. Because Bane and Ja got more chemistry. They do. Like, and that's, two backcourt mates, neither one of them 6'6" or over, that don't bode well. When you got somebody that's 6'11" or 7 feet with a 7 whatever in the hell wingspan Jaren got, yeah, they're gonna have to do something. The team building, for the sake of Taylor Jenkins, I hope they get a lot of chemistry. And because they basically chose to ride in the next season with just one new addition, really, that's gonna play. It's Marcus Smart. Who the other addition? So they count on internal growth. So now what Kleiman did team building wise was genius in getting Anthony Carter and getting the guy from Milwaukee. To me, that was genius, especially the Anthony Carter move. Because if you're gonna bank on internal improvement, get an internal improver, and that's what they got with Anthony Carter. So it was dope in that way, super dope.
Yeah, I think with that one, it's it is what it is. I mean, team building, it's kind of a situation where, to me, I feel like they're going to have to spend some time together in the off season. And they're going to have to really lock in, because you're starting the games. They're going to go into the season 25 games without Ja. Some, we talked about me and EJ Casamigos. Shout out to Casamigos. We talked about it in the spaces. They're going to start the season 25 games without Ja. And as I mentioned in the spaces, some people are like, well, they still don't get a chance to practice together because he'll be allowed to be in practice. But the thing about that is, in the NBA, they don't practice after every game. They only practice maybe once every 3 to 5 games. Sometimes even if that. I've seen teams damn near go half of the season without practicing. And then even when they do, they only do walkthroughs. It's not like they actually going full-fledged scrimmage mode unless there's some real issues going on and they feel like they just need to get one in. But typically they don't run scrimmages and stuff during the season, especially not anymore. It's just a lot of wear and tear on the body. So, the team building, I think that, I mentioned that I would like, if you can be on social media, Fashion Week and all that shit, you can pretty much, I feel like if you can be on social media for Fashion Week, or if you can be on social media in the club throwing up a bunch of money, or you could be on social media barbecuing or whatever the fuck you do, or if you can be on social media with your girl walking through the arena, you should be able to show footage of what matters most. And that's y'all building the chemistry that y'all need to build to get to the next level. Because the team front office has put together a plan and set expectations for this to be a championship team by year 6. This is year 5 we're going into. So if you're going to win a championship and you're going into the season that you're going to miss the first 25 games, that's over a quarter of the season. That's pretty much almost 1/3 of the season. If you're going to miss that many games to start off the year, you have to be in the gym extensively to make up for that in the off season before leading up to that season. So if they are, as I said this before, I would like to see them get together, but that's fine if we don't, because we'll see it in the regular season by the chemistry. The results will show if they really was locked in. But history says that the precedent for winning championships is locking in and having some type of chemistry with each other. That's not just sports, that's business. One of the first rules of business I learned is get to know your associates outside of the office. You know, that's the key to really building chemistry. You're not going to really build chemistry like that on the clock. So hopefully they understand it. But I think the onus is not on the players as much as it is on the front office, because they're the ones who set their expectation from the jump. Now, the players talk their shit and put it out there they're supposed to. But when the front office also seals and stamps that by saying, hey, we got a 6-year plan of winning a championship by year 6, specifically giving us dates and times and goals in place, then if you can't go like this, you know, even the Nuggets, before they won the championship this summer, they had already made it to the conference finals. So even they didn't just jump from goddamn first round knockout to winning the championship, you know, the next year, especially when your point guard going to be out for the first 25 games of the season. So they're going to have to really lock in and make up for a lot of lost time in the regular season. And this, if there's any offseason to do that, considering how they just got embarrassed the first round, you got put out by a 7 seed the way you did, you got dogged the fuck out almost historically bad. Then you considering that, and you going into the season with your franchise player not being there for the first 25 games, and y'all already have chemistry issues on top of all of that. There's a lot of layers to that, right? I just named several reasons to where it's so important for them to actually get in and lock in this summer. So if they're not locked in this summer, spending time together, we ain't got to see the video. If you do see the video, it would make my summer in terms of knowing that these guys are, I've seen them take the actions that's going to put them in place to be champions. And I'm talking about spending heavy time together. Shout out to Candy Horton, by the way. But Candy, we had a really good conversation about this a couple days ago, because Candy was like, well, motherfucker, you don't know what they doing. She go hard for them. So if anybody deserves a jersey or an autograph sign, is Candy Horton, Frederick Worthy, and Lauren Worthy. They definitely don't play about their Grizzlies, man. They go the fuck hard for them. So one of the things Candy was saying was, she was telling me, and pushing back on what I was saying, she was like, motherfucker, you don't know what type of time they spent together in the summer. Or they might have got together because they had an event or something recently where they was in the same building. They might have got together and played pickup. They might have, but playing pickup one fucking time ain't gonna make you a championship team. That's not gonna take you to the promised land, especially when you're a guy, when you're in a situation where y'all already have an issue with chemistry. There's almost no chemistry at all between y'all. So yeah, when you have that as an issue, you already got your ass kicked the way you did. You have pressure of expectations by year 6. And your franchise player is not going to be around the first 25 games of the season. That's a lot of obstacles to overcome to become a championship team the very next year, or even be a Western Conference Finals team. So especially the way the Western reloaded this summer. So yeah, I think people might not understand the context of it, but I know when I say certain stuff, it'll be a lot of times it'll take a few months for it to hit to really where people, the masses will catch up to what's really being said. But the bottom line is with it, what's required is they're gonna have to lock in and spend a lot of fucking time this summer to make up for what they're not gonna get and what they already don't have in terms of chemistry and time together. So yeah, this summer, man, it's gonna be really crucial if these guys are serious, if the front office is serious about the expectation that they set for themselves, if the owner is serious about holding the front office, the players, and the coaches accountable. Everybody should be on the same page in terms of the team, especially Bane, Jaren, and Ja being spending extensive amount of time together this summer and really building some chemistry. They gotta lock in. It's only been a few pairs in history that won championships that wasn't totally locked in, and even they spent a lot of time together. Jordan and Scotty, they hooped a lot together in the offseason, believe it or not. Even though they didn't like each other, they did a lot of hooping together in the offseason. Because there are a lot of, and how we know this is because there are a lot of stories about them hooping together in the offseason. KG just told a story of his own about him, Jordan, and Scotty all playing in the gym together when they were still in the league. KG rookie year, going into his rookie, I think he was still in high school. But and Shaq and Kobe, those are the two rare instances where guys didn't spend crazy amount of time together that we know of in the offseason. And I'm not gonna say two instances, just one, because we just dispelled that with Jordan and Pippen. But specifically with Kobe and Shaq, that's the only instance where I don't know of a lot of them spending extensive time together in the offseason. But this is the thing about them. They had a natural chemistry on the court, at least to some degree, to where they didn't have the same issues Jaren and Ja has in terms of chemistry. Kobe knew he'd get his, and he knew when it was time to get Shaq the ball and let him get his. There was no issue with them being able to do that. And I mean that in terms of attention and just natural playing ability. Like Kobe had no issue throwing them up on the Shaq, coming down in transition, and Shaq down there ripping the goal down, snatching the alley-oop, or let Shaq get. Shaq was so dominant that you didn't have to figure out or wait on Shaq to have the right footwork or the right balance to be able to get the ball. Just get Shaq the ball. If he ain't on the ground, Shaq gonna make that shit work. If he in the paint, he gonna get 2 points. That's something Jaren or nobody has. So you're gonna have to really spend that time together to make up for it. I know I went into a long point with that. But what
that's a valid point, though.
What do you have to say with them?
Just like I just said, they gotta get it together. Like the chemistry has to. You know what I'm saying? And another thing with Kobe and Shaq, those two of the greatest players to ever live. And you saw that at an early age, they were going to be there.
Mm-hmm. They were both already, well, not Kobe, but Shaq was already.
He'd been to the finals. Yeah. His third year in the league. So
and way far ahead of either Shaq or Ja or Jaren.
I mean, you have to have otherworldly type of basketball talent to do that. Like to have no chemistry. Like it's got to be, and it just so happens that's what it took with those two. That just so happened. You needed the most dominant physical force since Wilt.
Exactly.
So it's like you're not gonna see that. Like you gotta build. Them guys gotta do their thing. There's no choice.
Right.
You have to have look at all the point guard to power forward combinations that win rings. You got or didn't win rings, but challenge for them. Yeah, of course, Stockton and Malone. Okay. Nash and Dirk really didn't have good chemistry. And you see they shipped Nash up out of there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But he had good chemistry with Amari Stoudemire. So if you're Jason Kidd and Kenyon Martin, like all these people you remember their combination. You remember seeing what it looked like. Mm-hmm. There are no memories of the greatest memory you got of Jaren and Ja is Jaren running the break. I think it was against the Wizards. And then he threw the lob to Ja and he windmilled it. Like, that's it. Other than that, they really, a couple games last year, the first play, they'll set the lob up. But after that, they wouldn't go back to it. And Ja ain't throwing no post-entry passes. And when it comes time for him to call for a screen, he never calls Jaren out there. Really. Now, I'm pretty sure it's reasons for that, but those reasons shouldn't be valid going into this coming season.
Well, that would be on Jaren because one of the issues with Jaren is he don't set screens. He slips the screen every time. Him and Brandon Clark, they known for that. They'll show a screen,
but they won't do it.
They won't actually set the pick on that screen. So it's a screen, but it ain't got a pick to it.
I think with Jaren, because Clark can actually set a good screen. The problem with Jaren is his posture's just wrong. So I'm pretty sure Ja don't call for him because he don't want him picking up an offensive foul. Because he's extremely prone to offensive fouls. Like he just don't be set right.
Right.
So they got to do something. They got to work on it, and they got to get chemistry between those two. Because in history of the game, man, when you got that star power forward, that point guard usually running right with them. Kemp, Peyton, the list go on and on, like forever. Like you saw these combinations work. You saw how they work. Show me how this combination works. You know what I'm saying? Like, he might set a screen and pop out, but you not Dirk. You're not a pop out guy. You're not shooting at that high percentage.
Well, I think actually, I mean, if that's sad because initially he was on that, not Dirk, but he had Dirk. We saw Dirk type damn near potential in Jaren's shooting ability early on in his career. I mean, the first game of Summer League, he nailed 8 threes. His first time he put on the NBA jersey, he nailed 8 threes in the game. I think that's one of the issues why I think they had a lot of chemistry issues because Ja has always seen. I'm not saying this for certain, just me speculate. I believe that Ja saw Jaren as benefiting him best as a outside in guy, as a pick and pop versus a pick and roll. A guy that steps out versus stepping in. Ja is accustomed to being the one that steps in. Now that's something Ja gonna have to grow and develop too. The onus is also on him to develop that mini and that outside. But yeah, nevertheless, they're gonna have to get that together going into year 5 of them being together. Because the front office set together expectations for a championship here in year 6. And as I've already said before, depending on how they finish this year, if they don't get it done again and we have another fall apart like they did this season, I'm confident Anthony Carter is going to be the new head coach. And I can confidently say that just based on what I'm seeing. There's no way common sense. The little that I do know about this is you're not going to leave a situation like Miami and come to a Memphis unless there's an opportunity to move up immediately, like very soon. You're going to either you're coming here to be a part of to be the assistant coach of a championship team or the head coach of a new team. That's the only 2 ways that somebody of Anthony Carter's resume and stature is going to do that. It's just that it makes no other sense to any other way. So that's that on that. Now, moving on, in terms of and I'll say this about the last part of that Grizzly offseason chemistry building, like, they're going to need to do that because they're going to have to show the rest of I almost feel like the bottom of the roster has more chemistry than the top of the roster. And that's weird to say. Like, Zaire and Santi got more chemistry than Jaren and Ja. That's some wild shit because the chemistry of Zaire and Santi is probably never going to mean jack shit for the Memphis Grizzlies. And that's a harsh statement to make, but I bet you it's the reality. And that's, so it is what it is. But when the bottom part of the roster has more chemistry than the top part of the roster, that's a bad indictment if you're talking about the top part leading them into a championship season anytime soon. So again, man, it's no other way around it. Bottom line, if they're not spending heavy time together, not link up one time because they was happen to be in the same building one weekend and hook up for a pickup game once or twice, that shit's not gonna do nothing. That's some picture photo op shit. They're gonna have to spend a lot of time in the offseason together to make up for what they're not gonna get. And it's gonna show during the regular season. So that's that on it. Now, moving on, to spin the room a little bit. I want to touch bases on a couple of new albums this week really quickly. Because we want to get into the last 2 questions here that are far more relevant. But I felt remiss not to add this into the equation as an artist myself. Music albums that dropped this week. I ain't got to listen to a lot myself, so I ain't finna make it like I'm just some connoisseur of what's really going on. But I did get to listen to a little bit of Utopia, which is Travis Scott's new album. It was actually pretty good. I'm not a Travis Scott fan per se, so it's hard for me to compare the previous albums to this album. But from what I heard, this album just as a novice, a casual Travis Scott listener, It was actually sonically pretty solid. The production, I mean, Travis Scott is production wise, he's arguably the Kanye West of this generation in terms of engineering mix. A lot of people don't give him enough credit for how he's changed today's sound in terms of mixing records. Like the way you hear distortion and reverbs and even the pitch corrections and shit that you hear today. It started with Kanye during the Yeezus album, but Travis Scott has taken that and created a whole new genre out of that. So kudos to him. The Utopia album was solid, but what do you think? Have you ever had? And of course, the Nas album.
Yeah, that's the one I checked out.
Yeah,
I checked out Nas.
Yeah, I've been listening to that one. What's your take on the Nas album?
Hey, Nas is I'll be honest with you, man. Nas having a hell of a run post-COVID. It's crazy, but this is his greatest run ever. And you know, I guess he's saving the best for the back half, right? He kicking ass, man. But the album has had me in a chokehold since it came out. They Killer Mike, dog. He dropped the classic.
Yeah, I like Killer Mike.
Killer Mike dropped the classic.
It was hard too. I said this on Twitter. To me, Nas is discography wise. And we kind of use the same terminology in terms of having, because it had me in chokehold too. So I feel you on it. Like I can't stop playing. But I said this earlier on Twitter. Like discography wise, Nas is the best artist in the game right now since COVID, post COVID, since the pandemic. The term I used was pandemic. But since the pandemic, like Nas to me, discography. If you were talking album work body or complete bodies of work, Nas the best artist in the game right now. And I'm talking Drake, Travis, you name it. The only other person I can even put right there with Nas is Dolph. Rest in peace to Dolph. That's the only person I can put there in terms of just body of work, and even him, I would have to give it to Nas just because, of course, you know, Dolph is no longer here with us, so he wasn't able to continue to embrace it, you know, in the same way Nas is. But other than Nas, yeah, Dolph is the only person. There are a lot of close ones. Killer Mike has had a pretty good run the last few years. If you want to add in the Run the Jewels albums, because he had a Run the Jewels album that dropped a year or so that was really good. That's another one that's underrated in there. Freddie Gibbs is another one. Larry June is another one. There are a few guys that have dropped some really good body of work, so it ain't like it's nobody. Drake has dropped some pretty good bodies of work here in the past since post-pandemic, but nobody has had a body of work resume like not just point blank and simple. Nas the best rapper or best hip hop artist in the game right now. Especially if you want to talk discography. Ain't nobody dropping this whole body of work. Like you might drop a better single, you know, and that's cool. Nas don't play that game. But if you want to talk about capturing somebody's attention for the whole album, taking them into a whole experience from the first song to the last, nobody is doing it like Nas and Hit Boy right now. So, man, salute to them. Yeah, they giving me a lot to work on here with what I'm working on as far as my next project. So they definitely setting the standard in terms of what's to be expected when somebody drop a hip hop album right now. Thank God for Nas, because hip hop was kind of having a bad year this year, and I think Nas really added a lot of context in favor of hip hop for that. So shout out to Nas, and I just want, I feel like it was really important for us. If you haven't already, go check out Nas's new album, Magic 2. It's definitely an unbelievable album. It just captures my attention. The Irvin Magic Johnson song, to me, that's the best song of this year, bro. I ain't heard and there have been a lot of good shit that's come out this year in terms of singles, but I haven't heard a song this year that's better than Irvin Magic Johnson. Definitely not better than. If you want to say what's the best, that's an opinion anyway, because it's got EST at the end of it. But I know for a fact ain't nobody got a better single than Nas, Irvin, Magic Johnson this year. So shout out to Nas, man, for he just on a heater right now. Like, to me, this some Twilight Zone shit. I've never seen an artist, especially not no artist that already has an established career, coming in at this point in their career on the back end and have the run he having right now.
I think it's based on the production. That's what did it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like he linked with a producer because the biggest knock on Nas all the time.
Production.
Yeah, it was like
beats.
Yeah, I love to hear you spit, fam, but I don't want to hear you goddamn beat. And that coming from the South and somebody that listen to lyrics,
we don't want to hear Salaam Riggin for 12 tracks.
Yeah, I was like,
shout out to Salaam Riggin.
Yeah, I was just like, I need a beat, man. Like, you got to do something eventually, and he did, and he has, and he recognized it. Mm-hmm. So, man, shout out to him. Now, that Killer Mike track about junkies, this for the drug users with Fabo, dog, that is one of the most relatable songs as far as upbringing for people that come from places like we do. Like that conversation he said he had with his auntie, that was magnificent, dude. Like, that was cold how he said that.
And shout out to Don Tripp too, by the way. I'm sorry, because he's dropped like 7 tapes this year already. Yeah, he's been on one crazy this year. So shout out to Don Tripp too. That's another person who's been going crazy hard here recent. And I still would say Nas is just the pinnacle of everybody. So it ain't nothing wrong with being second to Nas, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, man, yeah, I definitely, it's been a pretty good year. It might not be for singles or mainstream accolades, but I think that's by design. That's a whole nother conversation because all of this, today's music, the numbers are far more controlled than they used to be. You can just, it's all press a button now versus even back in the day, you had more control of being able to sell your records even if you were blackballed because you could jump in the streets and sell hand and they can't do nothing about it as long as you're able to print up CDs and tapes. Today, they can shut you out because hell, it ain't too many cars that got CD players in them that they're making now. So they can shut you out in terms of being able to distribute your music. So I think that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, moving on to the last two, one of which is the NFL starts this week with the Hall of Fame game this Thursday. The Jets are playing in this Hall of Fame game. I'm so sorry. I can't remember if it was the Cowboys or the Redskins, somebody like that that's supposed to be playing against them. What's your thoughts on that? The NFL season get ready to start. Training camps have gotten underway. Everybody's in full effect. Shout out to my boy D-Hop, my Titans. Tighten up. Man, God is good. God is so good. Shout out to Amy Strunks for being able to just be excellent GM that she coming in. I mean, excellent owner that she has been to us thus far. But what's your thoughts on the NFL season kicking off this past week?
I am goddamn shocked that they start. Like, I hope it ain't an outside game because it's hot in the motherfucker. Yo, it's hot. So I really do hope that. I just hope don't nobody pass out, man. Start an NFL game in August, like full on. I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm hoping that the practice players are out there. And not saying I wish home. I'm just saying like I hope they get some run. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to see, of course, Aaron Rodgers take that first snap for another team in green. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's something everybody looking forward to.
Especially with the comments he made yesterday about Sean Payton. And, well, he just simply responded to Sean Payton. Sean Payton made the comments about Denver being pretty much the worst coaching performance he's seen in NFL history last year with Nathaniel Hackett, who had no business getting that job. But anyway, Sean Payton made the comments that the Broncos, not only was the Broncos season last year one of the arguably the worst coaching performance in NFL history, but he went into detail as to why. He said, look at their offseason last year. They were so geeked up about signing Russell Wilson and other guys that they got. that they were more gun-ho on marketing the team and selling tickets and the hoopla versus actually the coach making sure that the coach or the coach himself making sure that there's a program in place and being established, especially your first season as a head coach and coming into your first season with a historical franchise like Denver that has a shit ton of expectations, reason why you only had 1 year. What basically happened, Sean Payton made those comments, and also in the midst of him talking about Denver last year, he referenced what he compared it to the Jets offseason this summer in acquiring Aaron Rodgers, the same way they required Russell Wilson last year. He felt like this was just a marketing media charade on the Jets' behalf, same way it was for Denver last summer. So he said, basically, don't expect the Jets to be shit this year because they doing the same shit Denver did last year. It made them one of the worst teams he had ever seen.
Yeah, I never expect anything from the Jets anyway.
Right. And I said Vinny Testaverde.
It's
Curtis Martin was there. Keyshawn Johnson was there.
I just don't think they appreciated even having Mark Sanchez. They didn't appreciate because they was in the conference finals with him.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't appreciate. Now that defense they got is impressive across the board. They got a nice defense, but yeah, that's really what I'm looking. What's his name?
Quindell Williams.
Yeah, with like him, like I love to see him rush the quarterback because offensive linemen always on their heels against that kid. He raw. He with the shit.
Sauce Gardner, all the cats. Yeah, they got a defense.
They got a nice D. As far as the offense, and it's.
But they got Aaron Rodgers, so there's gonna be some stability there. Aaron. One thing about Aaron Rodgers, he a one-man show. Like you can literally put him around guys from NFL Europe, and they'll at least be, top 20 offense.
Do you think he gonna be the same Aaron Rodgers?
He already wasn't the same Aaron Rodgers last year, but even an A- or B+ Aaron Rodgers is still strong enough to make that a sufficient offense, if you ask me. Especially, they got some decent receivers. They got Corey Davis, a former Tennessee Titan that we drafted fucking top 5 and ended up leaving us after his rookie deal. They got somebody else up there I'm tripping about. A receiver that's like number 1. But yeah, they got some decent possession guys that may not take the top off, but Aaron Rodgers ain't looking to take the top off. Aaron Rodgers on 2015, he gonna chunk you down to death. So they got some guys that's actually perfect for the way Aaron Rodgers likes to play. Last minute create throws and shit, moving around and being able to create a throw on the run last minute and having a receiver to know to go get that ball and has that ability. They have a guy at least in Corey Davis who is a borderline 1,000-yard receiver. Really, he really is better than that. He just never either stayed healthy enough to get over that or just never had the offense focus on him like that. But he's definitely a capable possession receiver to work with for Aaron Rodgers. We've seen Aaron Rodgers like literally take last year's receiving core for Green Bay was god awful, and he still made that a functionable offense. So I think we're gonna see the same thing from them this year, or at least they should, as far as the expectation. Now, the way things going, Aaron Rodgers, and to get to what Aaron Rodgers said, Aaron Rodgers pretty much called Sean Payton insecure for his comments as his response to what Sean Payton said. But we're gonna see who's right or wrong. We're gonna get to see it this season. Now, as far as my Titans, hey, I'm happier than ever. We finally got a real receiver, a real number 1, and we got a real number 2 with Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks is looking crazy explosive this offseason in training camp in comparison to last year where he came in injured and out of shape because he was injured. I don't question Treylon Burks' effort. To me, I can tell when the guy play, he leaving it all on the field. You can see that. And now you're seeing a healthy version of that. And it looks incredible, like to the point where you got people asking, is Traylon or D-Hop going to be the number one wide receiver? Now, we already know D-Hop going to be the number one wide receiver, just based off of it's fucking D-Hop alone. But hey, this is a guy who played like 8 games last year, missed like the first 8 games of the season, and still had a crazy year. The games that he did play, he missed the first 3 games of the season because of suspension. But when he did come back, he was unbelievable. You could tell being 31, 32 years old didn't mean shit for DeAndre Hopkins. So I'm just so glad that we got DeAndre Hopkins in. Shout out to my Titans. Shout out to Amy Strump, our owner, our team governor, whatever you want to put. She's definitely very progressive minded. If you can't say nothing else about her, she progressive. Like when she fired John Robinson last year, it shocked the shit out of me, especially for her to do that in the middle of the season. Like, she is just a dream owner for me. I love Amy Strunk. I ain't got nothing but positive things to say about her. Like, she make moves like the fans be talking. Like how we wish that an owner would make a move and have the balls to make a move at a certain moment. She actually will make that move.
It must be nice to be the fan of a team, Amy, but it must be really nice to be the fan of a team with an owner with some goddamn sense. Because I was
one of the only owners. I'm glad you said it. I want to hear what you're gonna say. I'm just really small because you said that sparked another idea in my mind. When the protests, when the social injustice protest was going on at its height a few years ago during the pandemic, or even before the pandemic, when guys first started talking about taking a knee, you had, like, this is the reason why I don't rock with the Cowboys. You had owners saying that they were going to cut players for taking a knee. Like, that's total slavery plantation shit. And I just knew, I was already saying, like, I'm going to get ready to have to switch team or possibly boycott the NFL, because the way it's going, all these owners are basically saying, screw that take a knee shit. And I was like, I just know, I mean, it's the Titans, it's Tennessee, it's hillbilly town. You know, I'm just knowing they're going to come on with a good old strong stance against taking the knee. And for her to come out and make that ownership statement, not only her, but also Mike Vrabel, hey, not only are we not tripping about them taking the knee, we encourage our players to take a knee. When she said that, like, Amy Strunk, you, I'm not one of those cats that look for any little symbolism from white people, but you didn't have to do that. You didn't win any points. In fact, you probably made some of your core fans look at you a little awkward. You took a risk doing that in a moment where it was actually the trend. It was okay for you to actually do what all the other owners were doing anyway. And for her to be able to take that stance where she said, not only is it okay, I encourage you, I want y'all to take that knee and to take that stance in terms of social justice. Kudos to Amy Strunk. And I just want to say that because you sparked that thought in my mind.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. It must be great to be a fan of a team that the owner is actually worth a damn. Because I was born into a family of Cowboys. Unfortunate occurrence, right? I ain't really been watching the NFL like for a couple of years now. I just kind of fell back. Like he said, it's like the politics of it, it
becomes to a point where you almost have to suppress any conscience to watch the sport.
I remember
that's how badly racist it's become.
I remember Drew Brees, they were doing a collective bargaining agreement. And I think Drew Brees compared it like to how they do them. He compared it to like some type of unfair treatment. I don't want to quote him because I can't remember what it was.
He'll know when it says some crazy shit too.
But the way he expressed it, I was like, damn, they get done like that. Like, I just don't like how they do the players. Mm-hmm. I don't like how people do NFL players. Like, I don't like how they treat. I know people like, no, they get treated bad. Like, they collective bargaining agreement is horrible. Like, it is known in sports that people don't even want to put their kids in football because if they do excel and they got to go to the NFL, you ain't even getting nowhere near a guaranteed contract.
My son is starting as a sophomore, going into his junior year. My son went from JV taking the senior spot, who was the quarterback's brother. And And most parents would only be focused on how they can get their kid to the next level of football. I do and support my son in it, but I already talked to my son about, like, hey, bro, you was blessed to say, fuck this football shit if it come down to it. Yeah. Or even if you don't get it, you know, you was blessed with some genes where you got some type of brain where you can think for yourself and create your living. And I've already been, and I'm making that point to what you just said. Like, I'm already talking to my son, like, hey, bro, think outside of that football shit. Yeah. Like, bro, fuck that shit. Don't be one of them jock niggas that if they don't play football, they just fucked off in the world. Their whole life, if they didn't make it to play sports, they just become a tragic ending. Like, I refuse to allow my son to even think that fucking way. And I'm already on that shit in high school. Like, bro, don't set your whole life on playing that shit. Because like Dad said, I'm one of those parents where I'm like, man, fuck that shit, to be honest with you, because my son already had a few concussions. He's already wearing they can make him wear the rubber helmet, but kind of prevent the hits. Yeah, they like, and he has blurred vision sometimes still, and his concussion was fucking.
Do you see spots?
Yeah, sometimes every periodically, like he doesn't see it now, but he was at first. Okay. And the blurred vision, the headaches are still there. He still has headaches. My son's 16 years old, man, straight A student, or at least an honor roll student for sure. 3.5 GPA. So I tell him, bro, you ain't one of them, you know what I'm saying, them motherfuckers that they stereotypical thing about athletes, dumb jock motherfucker. You actually was blessed with a mind where you can go out and be a thinking man in this world. You don't have to just be a working man in terms of relying on some type of freakish talent or some type of lottery ticket odd of being able to play in the NFL. Because that's what there's a lottery tickets odds anyway. Even if you are one of the best of the best. So yeah, man, he hit it right on the nail when he said that in terms of parents are already, in this day and era, steering away from it.
Yeah, because I like when it comes to NFL ownership, I said to myself a couple years ago, even before the Kaepernick stuff, I started to wane off of it because it was just
concussions for me.
The vibes just wrong to me. Like
it's a plantation.
Yeah, with Jerry, and then the Houston owner, I'm like, when those guys go away, when they go away, because he's the worst. The one in Houston is the worst. When they go away, depending on how those teams are run going forward, and all them teams really, like if I see the vibe change, I pick that, I keep up with it, and I might catch a game here and there.
But anybody what type of brain, like anybody that has a conscience,
just any type of self-love, man, to watch them folks go through their stuff.
I'm so glad you said that, because I want to say, I try to be modest sometimes, but I know I try to curve what I say, because when I just really want to say what I get too harsh in delivering it. But I'm glad you found the right words like self-love, because I question a black person as a Cowboy fan. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. I question you as a person. You don't even love who the fuck you are, because to me it says to you that being a Cowboy fan is more important than being a black man. In this day, when Jerry said that shit, and he never came back and apologized, he never backed off of that statement, he left that shit out there, and you, man, let me shut up. Yeah, I'm just gonna be honest with you, bro. Oh my God, like I'm not gonna talk bad about it, because we all still support the NFL. To some degree, I still, my team. I was just lucky that the team I chose made the right stands. I was lucky. It was so I can't say too much, because I was lucky not to be in the position y'all are in. But the reality is, for the Cowboy fans, y'all are in that position where the owner just flat out blatantly told y'all this is a fucking plantation. Like, he said that in it as blatantly as he can fucking say that. And he made it clear, if you're not on board with this being a fucking plantation, you will get the fuck off my team. That was some wild shit. And for anybody to still put the fucking jersey on or put that shit on after a man say that to you about what you are to your core, what your kids are, what your wife is, what your ancestors got beat, robbed, killed, stabbed, raped, fucked over, everything, and you still put that man shit on, man, more power to you. Who am I to judge? I'm just putting it out there that that's what it is.
Yeah, so with the NFL, that's why, like, when you asked that and I saw it, I'm like, I don't know how you gonna take out my answer this, but yeah, I try to. Yeah,
you actually gave me what your perspective was actually I'm glad we having this conversation because you're actually a Cowboy fan, but
I fell back from the whole league.
Right, no, but I'm saying at some point you were, know, as a Cowboy fan, you actually have some type of conscience about it. So that's totally, that's what I'm, you know what I'm saying? That's the key, right? This is what the Cowboy fans should be, you know what I'm saying? Even if I'm not saying totally, you know what I'm saying? Like there should be some type of pushback or some type of, hey man, I fuck with y'all, I grew up on this, but I can't just say I feel the same way. There's no way I can feel the same way I felt about this team 10 years ago, knowing that our owner made this statement. You know
I'm just, in a way, I'm just waiting for, honestly, I'm waiting for all the boomer owners to just go bye-bye.
Me too.
Like
get out the way.
and I ain't being ageist or nothing like that, man. But it's not even the age. You know, I'm glad you said that because certain stuff is not necessarily about ageism. The reality is that certain age groups are a product of certain levels of institutional racism. That's a whole nother conversation to have, but that's a reality that is. And I'm glad we're having this conversation because we the A Man Say Man podcast. So we ain't gonna just stay in the color box of what they want us to stay in. We go in depth on things and deep thought. That's what we made our brand for. That's what people expect from us, is to say the things that other platforms aren't going to say. So I will go as far as to say, man, the age, it's nothing wrong with what you said, bro, because the reality is this age group, including our own, even our age group, is still a product of institutional racism. I mean, but that's the country itself.
Absolutely.
So it's built in. But for me personally, I just can't rock with dude. Like I just can't. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, it's so bad. One time he did an interview and the lady asked him a question. She said, "What grade do you give yourself as a GM?" He said an F. That's when I really said, I can't do this. This man, like, I got a thing where I can't give my money to somebody to play in my face.
You know you fucking off and you still refuse to do something.
Yeah, you correct it. You play it in my face.
Right. It says a lot about who you are in terms of you don't play in those terms because you acknowledging that this is a problem.
Exactly.
But you ain't fucking up about changing shit.
And I think this is the first season since probably the 90s where he actually like had enough sense to stop trying to build in-house and go get free. Like he went and got Stephon Gilmore. Mm-hmm. You need somebody that don't take risk like Trayvon did. Mm-hmm. You got to offset.
Cornerback on
it's like he find, and I think he didn't make that decision. A big part of me, like he couldn't have possibly thought, because his ego too big. He feel like whoever he draft is the next Emmett, is the next Aikman, is the next Leon Lett. Right. Like that's what he thinks. He got a different type of God complex. Mm. And I'm just like, he rubbed everybody the wrong way. Like dude just fucked out. But the one in Houston though, God damn. Like
I ain't gonna lie, I think Jerry worse. Reason why I say that,
I think they tit for tat.
Nah, I say Jerry worse. Want to know why?
What?
Houston only had a couple black coaches, black GM right now, if I'm not mistaken. Jerry never had no black coach.
Yeah.
Jerry had no black GM either. Ain't no niggas calling no shots in there.
Well, you can't be.
I don't even think it's been no black offensive coordinator.
There are no GMs ever gonna be at the Cowboys long as Jerry Jones. Look, he came out the owner's box, came to Jimmy Johnson and tried to tell him how to coach.
Right.
And Jimmy was like, "Take your ass back up there." He got a habit of wanting good personnel, but
he want control shit. micromanaged.
You can't do that with people like Bill Parcells and Jimmy Johnson. They gonna tell you.
I remember the Bill, because I remember that was supposed to be the year they were supposed to have made it.
Man, Bill Parcells told this man probably
like, fuck this shit. Like he left after 2-3 years.
Yeah, it's like don't nobody want to deal with this dude, man. So but to sum it up, that's how I feel about the whole league. Like because the whole operation is just fucked up. Like when Drew Brees, as twisted as his mind is, kind of, when he said what he said, I was like, yeah, it's bad. If he got to talk like that, then I'm like, yeah, because their collective bargaining agreement is laughed at by other professional leagues. Mm-hmm. Like it's joke. And anytime you are bullied into a contract like that, that lets you know what type of operation being ran. So that's why with the NFL, man, I this is how I view the NFL. I watch it, but with a blank mind. Mm. And I can they don't actually even get viewing ratings for me, but that's a different conversation. Even if I watch the game, on some other shit, but I make sure they don't even get my ratings. So yeah, but that's how I feel about it. And I hope them players don't pass. That's why I started off with I hope they don't pass out, because you parade them boys out here in a climate that is too hot.
You don't give a fuck about them. You trying to make that money.
Yeah, I stepped in my car the other day, man. It said 109 degrees. And you finna have these folks out there playing a game.
You wanna know why though? Because it's August. Ain't shit else going on. NFL can get all them ratings of people just itching for, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's cool, but
no, I ain't saying that. I'm just
my conscience is like,
this what they with.
Don't have these folks out here.
They don't give a fuck. This supposed to be the best views they can get for the whole season. Even when the season starts, this is the most non-competitive month in terms of pro sports. It is it's baseball and fucking football. That is it.
You know what?
And baseball is a literally, when they say pastime has a new definition because it's the pastime. You know what I'm saying? So,
like with the NFL, one thing I hope they do, I hope they expand them rosters. I hope it's add like 10, maybe 11 spots.
Wear and tear off some guys.
Yeah, like run different. Like they need to have a goddamn minutes. I ain't gonna say restriction, but it needs to be a new trend set.
And they need to bring back, or not bring. You know what's so funny? I thought about this earlier this week. I don't know why it's been on my mind here. The NFL Europe, their NFL development program. Remember NFL Europe?
Yeah, the rest of the world don't fuck with it.
And that's cool too. But even if they don't fuck with it, and you starting to notice some progression too, though. You're starting to notice the rest of the world because you're starting to see international draft prospects coming into the NFL that are offensive linemen from fucking Ireland or whatever. You know, they going to get these Steven Adams.
This how I view it though, right? If you in Ireland or you in Germany, Hamburg, Germany, if you in all these places, right, and you got kids and your kid is 6'4" and he weighed 320, he can't play soccer. He ain't gonna play cricket. He can't play none of that, like the stuff they do. Send his big ass to go play football.
Right.
That's what that I knew that was coming at some point because there's too many big ass people in other places that's freakish athletes, but they ain't got nothing to play over there. I mean, rugby ain't popping like that. You ain't finna get paid in rugby like you are in the NFL. Right. You're not. And then like when that rugby player tried to come to the NFL and play for the Niners, and he got his ass put down quick. They learned the difference in athleticism. Right. You take these NFL boys,
different bodies,
different type of athleticism. Mm-hmm. But that's why you seeing people like African immigrants making it to the NFL when they come to America or stuff like that. Like it's been people sitting at the house somewhere overseas that's 6'6", 280 pounds, solid muscle with amazing quick twitch reflexes. But it took the NFL a long time to come around because other countries don't produce as many people like that. Right. America, the only country you can have in the NFL.
We produce a lot of overweight motherfuckers because we have the liberty of eating and shit to whatever degree we want.
Yeah, but
growing and developing how we want.
Overweight person that's doing a cone drill better than in shape person. Like it's
absolutely
crazy athleticism. So right. we the only place that can actually house this. So I'm happy people getting bigger opportunities, but they need to expand them rosters for the health and safety of those players.
And I think that's going to come from the development program because that's the only way they're going to be able to expand the roster and not cost too much money because it's all about money. So how do you expand the roster without expanding the salary cap too much on a per average development guys? Guys you can bring in and pay them fucking $200,000, and he might come in and be a solid contributor.
They got the bread.
So yeah, they have the bread. That's not a question. The matter is how much they want to spend. You know what I'm saying? They
don't want to spend nothing.
Exactly. So if they want to spend anything, if they can, they're gonna cultivate the development aspect before they probably really just expand the roster. It'll be like how the NBA is with the two-way contract. They'll figure out some type of way with the practice squad player to allow them to have some type of more eligibility to be able to move up to the next level. If you ask me. So yeah, that's I'm gonna try to think about the Titans, man. Anything else on the NFL so far this week? Because
it is a great show on Netflix called Quarterback.
Right.
Have you seen it?
I've heard about it. I hadn't watched it yet, but I've heard a lot about it. It's got Chiefs.
It's got Pat Mahomes, Marcus Mariota, and Kirk Cousins.
The greatest of all time. The average quarterback. They got a good agent. We can keep a good deal going. And then you got a borderline friends. You got to have a lot of talent, a lot of potential who's never quite panned out. So I see the layers or the aspects or the dynamics of the show. I get that off the top. So the angles, perspectives.
Yeah, I gained a lot of respect for them guys, especially Kirk Cousins, because he took a beating last year. Mm-hmm. He was hey, dude took a hell of a beat down, man, all year. But
the problem is, he takes so much money away.
Can't get him in line, right?
Yeah, shit. You want to prove you found a good quarterback, give up some of that money.
But check that show out. I don't know who produced it. I don't know. I just know it's on Netflix. Gives great perspective. And you get to see the life, see what they go through mentally, and see the toll the physical punishment takes on their mind. That's what I'm peeping more than anything. And you get to see that mindset. Because Pat Mahomes, he actually ignores pain. Like, dude is one of those people, he's psychopathic about winning. I love it about dude.
Well, we saw that in the Super Bowl on that ankle. The way he was, you could tell he was hurt, running, limping. Like, you saw somebody limping, running full speed. Like, limping and running full speed and gained about 40 yards and then run at least 20, 30 yards. Just unbelievable, just perseverance and then unbelievable talent, athleticism, just ability to be able to gain 30 yards on a bum ankle in the NFL as a quarterback. It's the best quarterback ever.
The Steph Curry of football is what I call
it. Absolutely. I would even go as far as Steph Curry and Chris Paul together. Because even with Steph, he's far better of a player than Steph is in basketball. Because he's far more skilled than Steph is in terms of as a basketball player. So, yeah, I would even say Steph and Chris combined almost. Because Steph is not nowhere near as skilled as a point guard as Mahomes is as a quarterback.
Yeah,
and that's crazy. That's crazy.
I was gonna say I always say Pat Mahomes is the best person I ever seen say hype.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I can't think of nobody else that even rivals that. I used to say back in the day, even though Tom Brady is the greatest right now, his resume, I always thought Peyton Manning was better. But Peyton ain't even. He's on half of what Mahomes. That's crazy. I don't even know if he's half, because as great as Peyton was more so up here. That's where Peyton's greatest strengths were, up here. And that took 6 years. For the first 4 years, nobody even knew for sure if he was going to be a starter in the league, because he was, struggling his first 4. And even when Peyton was at his peak, he still was not as skilled as Pat Mahomes is. He was as cerebral as Pat, but he was not as skilled as Pat. I've seen Pat make under twist throws and
no look passes in football.
Just this shit go 30 yards. Just shit that like the skill level is trick shot. Like it's crazy. It's almost like a YouTube sensation that actually looks on that actually translate on paper. Some crazy shit. But yeah, man, that's definitely the midst of that NFL wrap up for the going into the Hall of Fame. The last thing we got here for this episode is, of course, fashion of the week, and we're gonna get to Dan's first.
All right, man. I got the Kid Super Grizzly jersey. It was a birthday gift, thanks to my sister. I'm appreciative. It's a dope jersey though. I got the guns out. I ain't got no I got a pea shooter. But nah, yeah, it's a dope jersey, man. It's super fresh. Got compliments on it. I'm not dressing my age with my jeans because I wore some jeans with the holes in them. I'm trying to rekindle my youth. I'm trying to rekindle my fountain of youth. And then I got on Air Penny 5 home team edition joints. Yeah. I rock with Penny, man. As y'all can probably tell, y'all probably sick of me. Probably wondering how I got all these damn Penny shoes. It's just, I just love them, dog. I just love them. Oh, shit. I almost failed.
We're definitely not sick of it. I can promise you that. We're definitely not sick of it. We want more and more. Trust me. Especially the way the fans react to this every week. They love it. So, as far as your boy, I'm OPing right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. This shit just ridiculous, man. I ain't gonna lie. When I put this shit on, I was like, man, y'all seen that DeMarcus Cousins clip where the interview was like, it's getting ridiculous. It's really getting ridiculous. That's the run I'm on right now with this fashion shit, man. It's getting ridiculous. Have y'all ever heard that? This is gonna be the perfect clip. Philippe the Plane one. I got too much sauce. Y'all heard that about Future? Well, this is what he was talking about, folks. He was actually, for those of us that don't know, he was actually talking about Philippe Plane. And we got it. None other than your boy Ed Memphis, the splash out with a little actual Philippe Plane. I don't think there's ever been a sports person to just, this shit, it's crazy right now with the Boucheron. Oh my God, I can't even, the Boucherons, I gotta, with a fresh shower cap coming straight out Jackson Street, the shower cap anyway. Yeah, man, shout out to Saxfield because they do make this very possible for me, man. They really do make things very, very possible, even here in Memphis. And then, of course, man, to cap it all off, we have the Mario Valentino. You said, you did. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We got these ones here too. The Mario Valentinos, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dame Lillard. I seen him have the sweatshirt on, and the sweatshirt is similar design to the shoes. Of course, it's way too hot for that. So I went ahead and got the summer version of what he was doing with this. So shout out to Dame Lillard. I know I talked bad about you a couple episodes ago, but you gave me a fashion inspiration. But yeah, man, this is how we doing it for the 99 and the 2000. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I know it's too much sauce, man.
When
guard your bitch, man.
When you see all them vowels on it, it came from overseas. Remember that.
What you say with all the vowels on it?
When you see the vowels, A, E,
I. Yeah.
When you see the vowels, it came from overseas.
Yeah. Same thing. Yeah. You see all the A, E, E, I. Yeah. All that Philippe Plane. I got too much sauce, dog. Make sure you go listen to that Future. I got too much sauce. The Philippe, the Plane one. This is what he was talking about. Yeah.
And remember, you cannot spell Grizzlies without the Riz. That's for the young folks. I learned a term, Riz. Apparently, it's short for charisma. It's like the thing they say, like, oh, you got all the Riz or whatever.
I ain't heard that. That's my first time.
Riz. I was I walked into a rabbit hole on Twitter. My bad, X. No, I'm gonna call it Twitter anyway. I ran into a rabbit hole with young folks, man. I learned a whole bunch of new terms.
I seen you in there. They were talking crazy. I stayed there for a few minutes.
Yeah, it was it's a crazy collection of people on that site, man. And when you can't sleep, it's something interesting to get on.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I ain't gonna lie. Twitter's the greatest app ever. It's a whole other world. Yeah, man, this has been a hell of a run for today. We're gonna definitely close it down. This is none other than Ed and Dez.
Dez and Ed.
Hey man, say man, don't play man. From around the way, man. You already know any day, man. And holler at your boys, Ed Memphis, keeping it pimping.
Indeed.
Sign it off.